Hello everyone. This video is going to be about making worm castings, worm poop into a fertilizer for your garden and your houseplants. It is my absolute favorite fertilizer to use. One of the biggest reasons being is it's free. What I use for, it's a large container, and as you can see, it's where all the coffee filters go. I have several of these things. This one gets the coffee filters this time. It's where garden vegetables go. It's where I got worms escaping here on the side. Anything that is vegetative, except like citrus stuff. The peels can go in, but the citrusy acidic stuff itself shouldn't put in with your worms. But worms are like, I feed the little ones to my tropical fish. If you're into fishing, worms make a great fish bait. They make a great addition for your soil. Worms are pretty cool things to have all by themselves. But today we're going to be talking about the true super duper stuff that worms will give you. And that's that while they're eating things, they're pooping. And what they poop, there's a bunch of carrots. What they are pooping is pure gold. Now, as we dig in here, you can see that's not peat moss anymore or shredded paper. This is worm poop. As the bacteria and the worms, we don't want the worms, so we're going to leave the worms out. Can be a little difficult at times. See, that's just perfection for the tropical fish right there. Don't have to cut it in half, don't have to anything, just enjoy. So we're going to go through here and we're going to find, look at the worms. Wow. I got to start feeding more. These are doing good. This is just the most wonderful stuff right here. I'm going to get the worms out. I know there's ways to sift and whatnot, but that would be like a video of its own. Now, the other thing you can do is in your box store, garden center, and that's any of them, where you have the collection of the little bags of stuff, fertilizers and all kinds of specialty stuff in the garden center. You can find, look at all the worms. You can find bags of, they'll call it worm poop, they'll call it worm castings, they'll call it all kinds of things. Wow. So if you think you can't grow worms, hey, get a plastic container. They love carrots, they love banana peels, they love the parts of lettuce and cabbage that you don't eat. They're really into, oh, see, that's gotten hard on it. That's such great worm poop there. So it's actually firmed up. What you'll find is as you're making the worm poop, it gets really heavy. So, and if there's some worms in there, look, I got lots of worms. So if a few worms fall into the mix here, that's okay. This is just, see, there's a big old block hardened up worm poop. This is shredded paper and peat moss, and then it's food material. So when it gets hard like this, it has to be worm poop. It's the only thing in there that would make that. So we're going to dig around. I've got videos showing you how to start this with shredded paper and peat moss, or you can buy somebody's worm bedding if you're adventurous. Very easy to do. And frankly, this is, I got enough right here to make up my fertilizer. You can buy in the store where they have these kind of products. It's Dr. Earth vegetable That looks like good. I'm going to try that. I haven't even opened it. Going to give that a try this year. See how it works. I picked up some bat guano, which is a 10-1-1. Really, really nice with your lettuce, cabbages, the things that you're only after the green part. That's been a nice fertilizer. But where you find these size bags in your big box store, they'll have somebody's brand of worm poop. So you don't even have to have worms. You could just buy the poop. And yes, you know, go ahead and feel a little weird as you're sitting there in the checkout buying a bag of worm poop. You know, we buy strange things in life. So, here's my stuff. And for the next part, we're going to move outside. But this is just fantastic. So, we're going to be making earthworm poop fertilizer for out in the vegetable garden. It doesn't burn. You could buy earthworm poop. You could also do this. I used to do this years ago when I had rabbits. You can do it with rabbit droppings, but you gotta like dilute it down because rabbit droppings can be really hot when they're fresh and they can cause problems, where I found this stuff not a problem ever. So on to the next stage. While we make up our worm fertilizer, we've got to come up with a bunch of water to dilute it in, since we want it to be a liquid fertilizer. I've got this big tub sitting out here collecting rainwater and lots of pine pollen. This, of course, then is the same temperature as pretty much the same temperature as the plants are, as the soil is. But, you know, if all you've got is water out of the hose, go for it. I need a big container for me because I've got a lot of space to do. So I'm going to fill them up with water. If all you need is a 5-gallon bucket, just use a 5-gallon bucket, fill it up out of the hose. Doesn't matter. Whatever you can do. If you fill it out of the hose, my water at least comes out from springs or whatever. It doesn't have any oxygen in it. So it'd really be better off if it would sit for a while. Let some of the bleach get off. Let the extra CO2 get off. And break it down to where you've got some oxygen in it. That'd make better water. But this is what we're going to start with. And then to this we're going to add the worm poop that we collected earlier. And I'm probably going to go get about that much more, since I've got 2 big containers here, and add split to it. So that was probably half the amount I want. And we're going to let that stew then for about an hour, so the nutrients in the worm poop get up into the water. And we'll stir it occasionally. And while we're doing that, we can get other projects in the garden done, so it's not like wasted time. So that pretty much shows you how that step goes. Every little bit you want to come over and stir it. I've got a piece of wood of some sort. Just want to make sure that those nutrients in your worm poop or earthworm castings, whatever you want to call them, getting up into this water. So we're going to periodically come over and stir it. And that's all it takes. We'll let that stew for another half hour or so. Well, it's been a good half hour. Time to give this a stir. Start getting it out in the garden. Now, these potatoes that you see, they've been showing up in all my videos because that's the biggest thing we got going right now. The only fertilizer these potatoes have seen is this worm poop water, mixture, tea, whatever they want to call it. It's the only fertilizer they're seeing other than the original compost. And you can look at these guys and tell they are flourishing. Nice, healthy looking plants. Just doing great. Lots of chard. And the last pot I don't think it shows is some garlic growing. Here is the horseradish. Really want to get it going. Boy, we love horseradish. And then this is garlic. It's one kind of garlic, this is another one. Only fertilizer they're seeing is the worm tea. Even the onions are going to get a nice drink. Couldn't resist picking up this little strawberry basket. Man, my sucker for strawberries. They'll do fine with the worm tea also. Then we're going to shift over, and here's some of the herb yarrow plants. I'll hit them with a good bit of it. That really is how you do it. You just go around, give everybody a good drink. I'll keep doing this with the herbs and the other plants, but you're way beyond getting the general idea. It's just hard to beat those good earthworm poop for fertilizer. And as you can see, everything we've done is just growing really, really well. So, this is David at Grow and Eat This. Thank you for watching, and think differently every time you see that pile of earthworms. Have a good day.